Hey y'all, Nani here. Welcome to my channel. You can call me Nani. Please subscribe, leave a like, and comment. I'd love any suggestions that you have for me, for my channel, for reviews, for anything. I'm open to anything. I'm wearing these bunny ears because I was going to wear them for the Easter Feaster video. We went and specifically bought them along with these adorable sunglasses, which I cannot see without my regular glasses. But, I mean, hello. And we totally forgot about them, and we forgot to use them. So I thought I would never let a cute pair of bunny ears go to waste. Bunnies are one of my favorite animals. And these are super cute because you can turn them down. Maybe even make them look like kitty cat ears or something. You know what I mean? You know, you can work it out. Bunny rabbit ears is what we're going with today. Anyway, so I promised that review. And I had so many things get in the way today. But I'm an overachiever, y'all, and if I said I'm going to get it done today, I'm going to get it done. Also, I want to make a correction with my Scarlett O'Hara video, the very first one I put out today. Scarlett, bless her heart, she's tired, honey. She's tired. She's going through that war. I mean, she's got soldiers coming to her house and everything, trying to get supplies. So, you know, she needed a little help. She thought it was Tuesday, and it's actually Wednesday. So, that's good, because, you know, week's half over, but who really cares? What else do we have to look forward to but another day of nothingness? Anyway, that's me always looking on the positive side. But I promised to do this review. My battery's low, as usual. But I'm doing the review on the 1985 movie, The Breakfast Club. Now, real quick, the story of why this movie is so special to me is because there was a boy. I will call him... I'll call him Sean, and I hope to God I don't forget later in the video that I named him Sean and call him something different. But for right now, his name is Sean. That is not his real name. And we knew each other in class. We were friends. I was a little, I don't want to say shy because I've always been extroverted, but I was a shy extrovert, and that's because I had shit going on at home. And when you have shit going on at home, you want to be invisible because you feel like you have a sign written across your head that says, I'm being abused at home. Because you know it's wrong. You know there's something weird going on and funky, but you don't have the language for it. So, you know, I always had my walls up and stuff, but he was a silly character and he always made me laugh. And that's really a way to get to my heart, make me laugh. So, I guess he liked me. I had no idea. I did not know. There were so many boys I could have gone out with. Like, there were boys that would write me notes because that was the big deal. In my high school, we didn't have texts. So, boys would write notes that would say, like, will you go with me? That's what it was. Will you go with me? And it's always like, where? Where are we going? But it's just, will you go with me? And that meant, will you be my boyfriend or girlfriend? Most of the time it was the boys doing the stuff because that's how it was. And I'm sorry, women's libbers. I feel like that's how it should be. We have to do all the other bullshit. Make them do something. You know what I mean? Make them do something. It's not because I don't feel like women are not capable of doing everything a man can do and more and better in heels. But I do love you men. I've got 2 of them. I made them. They're great. Plus, I'm married to one and I love him. But I'm just saying, back in the day, I wanted to be asked out. I never would have asked a boy out. One, because I was an introvert. What is happening? And back then it was just, those were the gender roles. Usually the boys did it. So it would be like you'd get a note that said, will you go out with, or will you go with me? Like, from Jeff, will you go with me? Mark, check yes for yes and no for no. Well, I would always check no, because I was like, oh, I'm on to you fuckers. I know exactly what you're doing. I'm going to check yes, and then you're going to laugh in my face, because I had no self-esteem. I thought I was a piece of shit. And that's what abuse will do to you. And it was this guy that was really cute that I liked. I had a crush on him. But, it was not meant to be. My adopted dad, who we will refer to from now on as this bitch, is the one that was abusing me and screwed all my shit up. My birth father, we will call him JB. He allowed my mom and this bitch, well, my mom already had me, but he allowed this bitch to adopt me because this bitch was very charming. He had a great job as a DJ, which, if you don't know, is a disc jockey back in the day. Back in the day, disc jockeys were like superstars, okay? They were put up on a pedestal. And, boy, he had an ego to boot. But, my dad wasn't, he was young. He was 22. He wasn't doing that great financially. He was living over a bar, which I thought was pretty cool. And this bitch convinced my dad that I was better off with him, and that he was going to give my mom and me a better life. I mean, and financially, I guess he did. Like, we had nicer homes. We had, I never had a nicer car, but, they weren't driving around old jalopies. They had your middle class American dream. Whoop-de-frickin-do. We had a 2-story home, which of course I thought meant, oh, we're rich, we have a 2-story home. Whatever. But that's a story for another day. Anyway, I don't even know where I get off on these tangents. Anyway, I guess because I'm talking about the old days. So, this was my first date ever. I was 16, and the cool thing is, this was on, I went to see this movie on my 16th birthday, which I think was pretty cool. And now it came out, and it says February of 1985, but we didn't go till the summer. And I don't know if he took me to a dollar movie. I don't know what. I did not notice. But he was really sweet. He had one of his friends drive us in a really nice car. It was like a Lincoln Town car or something. We sat in the back. He got me a birthday card and a bottle of Asti Spumani. Now, here's the funny part. My mom, he did the right thing. He pulled up. He knocked on the door. My mom answered the door. He greeted my parents. Hi, my name is Sean. La, 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 la. All the things. He hands me this bottle of Asti Spumani, which is like a cheap version of champagne, but tastes a hell of a lot better. It's good. It's really good. But it's alcohol, and I just turned 16. And my mom was like, sweet. She didn't say no. She was just like, let me have it. And the card said, I love, whatever the card said. And then it said, I love you, Sean. And it was the first time any boy had ever said, I love you. And I was like, oh, shit. And this was my first date ever. And we're going to a movie. So anyway, we got in the car, went and saw the movie. It was great. And by this time, I guess maybe it was at the Dollar Movie, because I had already been hearing every single person at school was like, "You look just like Allison in the Breakfast Club." And I'm like, who the fuck is Allison in the Breakfast Club? Shit. And they were like, "You know, Ally Sheedy." And she was in other movies, you know. And I was like, I don't look nothing like Ally Sheedy. Like, Ally Sheedy has a thin, kind of longer face. She's got a nice thin nose. I mean, the only thing that she and I have, I think, that are similar are little beady ass eyes, but I still think mine are bigger than hers. I wish, anyway. Oh, Lord. Anyway, so, not that, and I'm not saying she's not pretty, but I'm just saying I don't think we look anything alike. Now, back in the day, I was not overly fluffy. I wasn't even fluffy. Now, I was probably about 135. I had a 22-inch waist, cute little bubble butt. I had no boobies. But I wasn't completely flat-chested. Cute little face. I was cute. I was cute. You know, I'm not gonna lie. I was cute. I was like 5'4". I had like a gymnast build. And I did work out, you know, jazzercise. That's a story for another day. But, so, you know, I had it going on. This was back in the day where it was not, guys did not feel okay about liking the girls with the bubble butts. It wasn't cool to like girls with bubble butts. They didn't write songs about girls with bubble butts. It was kind of kept on the DL. So I never knew. I would have girls make fun of me and be like, "Why do you walk like that?" And they'd like, you know, I can't even show you, but they'd like stand and walk funny. And I'm like, I don't walk like that. That's how I walk. Little did I know girls were going to be pumping their asses up with silicone, looking ridiculous with their fake butts. Fake boobs is one thing, and some of those are ridiculous. Your fake butts are not fooling anybody, and they look stupid. Stop it. If you're gonna do it, do a smidge. Do a tiny smidge. That's all you need. You don't need a Kim Kardashian booty. You don't need that. You don't need something that looks like it's been mutated, or like, I don't know, but y'all don't need that, okay? Whatever God has given you, and this is not a God talk because I'm not a God preacher. I do believe in God, but I believe in a different God. I believe in a God of just love and acceptance, not religion, not the Bible, none of that. Just embrace the things that you do have, you know. And if there's some things that you don't like, it's okay to change them. If you want to get a boob job, get a boob job. I'm just saying, maybe don't go crazy to where you turn yourself into a freak or a sideshow, or you damage your body. You know what I mean? Like, there's just a limit. Like, I would like some lip fillers. I think lip fillers would look great on me. I would love to have lips that were like this, you know, like Lisa Rinna style, like just, but I'm not going to get away with that. That's not going to be cute. Just a little. I mean, my bottom I can make work with like lipstick, you know, but my poor little upper lip, look at that. She's struggling, y'all. I mean, I would like a little, you know, honestly, I think that's the only thing I would get done. But I would be put to sleep, you know, like they do at the dentist, like IV sedation. Yeah, I'm not getting lidocaine needles in my shit without that. And don't tell me, oh, it doesn't hurt. It hurts me. It hurts me. I've had lidocaine shit in my mouth, in my lips, and it hurts like a bitch. Anyway, I keep getting sidetracked, y'all. Damn, this isn't even a fucking review. Okay, so we're talking about The Breakfast Club. Anyway, that's the movie I went and saw with Sean. It's the first movie I ever saw on my very first date, so that's why it has such warm memories for me. Me and Sean did not work out. When he told me he loved me, we went on a walk later and he said it verbally, and I started laughing. I did not start laughing out of meanness. I started laughing because I was thinking about it and I was trying to say it and I didn't know how to say it, and I just started laughing, and my intention was absolutely not to hurt him. And if I did hurt him, I'm truly, truly sorry. I was 16 and I was messed up in the head, y'all. I didn't know. I wasn't ready for love. And mostly I was wondering, like, how can you say you love me? You don't know me. You know what I mean? Like, that was my biggest thing. Like, you don't know me. You know a girl that you see in class for, you know, an hour. You know, you don't know me. You don't know what I go through every day. So, anyway, it didn't work out. He ended up breaking up with me, which is fine because I wasn't prepared to break up with him. But anyway, he's a good guy. He ended up finding somebody new and getting married, and he's happy as a clam. And he's still a good guy. So, on to my story. So, this movie was written and directed by John Hughes, who went on to do several other movies like 16 Candles. Basically, my generation's movies are all John Hughes movies. Hold on, I gotta clean off my glasses. Okay, so. Whew. All right, so we have Andrew. He's the jock. He's played by Emilio Estevez, who is the son of Martin Sheen, who was in Apocalypse Now and The West Wing. Very handsome man. And he's also Charlie Sheen's brother, you know, Winning. That crazy cat. I'm not sure about him. But anyway, that's his bro. They played in the Young Guns 2 together. Young Guns. Those, they're on my list too. Those two movies are amazing. Oh my God, I love a good Western. Ooh! Anyway, okay. Next we have Brian, the Brain. Now, what I did was, originally I wrote down all my names for them because this is what we would have called them in my school. So, Andrew was the jock. Brian was the nerd. But in the movie, they call him the Brain. He's played by Anthony Michael Hall, who went on to star in another favorite called Weird Science. Another movie I need to review. Great movie. Love it. This is one of my husband's favorite movies of all times. And he also was in Edward Scissorhands as the douchey boyfriend to Winona Ryder. And he played a good douche. But he grew up to be hot. Anyway, the bad boy, this is the kind of guy I always would have gone for. The criminal, his name is John. He's played by Judd Nelson. And I just wrote hot with exclamation points. Hot. His outfit, his demeanor, his hair, everything about him just sexuality and just badness, which meant I immediately wanted to go on a date with him because I can change him. I can change that. So, yeah. And then I wrote Popular Girl, which is actually Princess. Her name is Claire, played by Molly Ringwald. And she also starred in Pretty in Pink. And she's the mom on Riverdale to the sexy redhead. I don't know. Archie, that's his name. I'm looking for my phone charger, y'all. If I have to pause this, I know I left it in here. If I put that in my purse, I'm going to be so mad. I swear to goodness gracious. Maybe I'll have to do a part 1 and a part 2. Maybe I'll do that. I'll just wait till this shit runs out and then I'll do a part 2. Okay. So, how much battery do I have? How do I even tell how much battery? I don't know. Okay. So, the theme song, Don't You Forget About Me, was, Sean made it our song. Don't You Forget About Me. Great song by Simple Minds. Okay. Oh, and then the last one is the basket case. I wrote Weirdo Invisible Girl, which was basically me. Allison, played by Ali Sheedy, also in St. Elmo's Fire, which I talked about the other day. And another great movie called War Games. Love that movie. So good. You have to watch it. And then, of course, a classic, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Another movie you must see. So good. Okay. So I wrote, and these children... Oh, okay. This is a really cool quote that was somewhere in the beginning of the movie. I guess nobody ever noticed, but I really... There's like, when you watch it on Amazon, there's like a little trivia thing and you can like click on it and it gives you this trivia. So somewhere in the beginning of this movie is this quote written by this song that David Bowie wrote called Changes. And it says, and these children that you spit on as they try to change their worlds are immune to your consultations. They're quite aware of what they are going through. And I really feel like that resonates today, especially with the work that Greta, I don't know her last name, Steinberg is doing, and I am meaning no disrespect at all. I just don't remember anything. So I'm not trying to disrespect her by not knowing her last name. I know her name's Greta. I know she is a young girl who is banning school on Fridays so she can focus on the climate. And I am just in awe of her. I'm in awe of her. She is amazing. And I hope that, I don't know if you can be president if you weren't born here, but it would be amazing if she could get American citizenship and be our president someday. Oh, please. Anyway, and these children that you spit on as they try to change their worlds are immune to your consultations. They are quite aware of what they are going through. I mean, that is just, it's amazing. And it still holds the test of time. So, I thought that was great. So, the date of the, I guess, detention is Saturday, March 24th, 1984, at Shermer High School, Illinois. I don't know if they ever had Saturday detention at our schools. I never did anything to warrant like a whole day. Ours would just be after school in a teacher's office, usually, that gave you the detention, and it was like an hour. So if y'all had something different, let me know. I wrote, Brian's mom is a total bitch. Now, Brian's mom was actually, and his sister, was actually played by his mom, Mercedes Hall, and his actual real sister. So, Anthony, your mom is not a bitch, but your character's mom was a bitch. I can't stand parents like this. Parents that are like, grades are everything. Grades mean all. I don't care about your problems. I don't care about your... none of that shit. Just get good fucking grades so you can get into a good college and make us look good. There's so many parents I just want to strangle. some parents just suck ass. Okay. So, and then Emilio. I've actually seen parents like this. My boys used to play soccer a lot, like that fancy soccer. I don't know. Where they had tournaments and all kinds of crazy shit. And we'd have to drive for hours upon hours back and forth all day. And back in the day, we would spend like $18 on drinks. One drink per person, you know, and that was a lot of money. That's when we were like down to our last $4 in our bank account, and I was crying and going, oh. But we made it work. And, but I would see kids on the field miss a goal, and then the game was over. And it wasn't even a goal, like a game-losing goal that they missed. Like, they just missed a goal. And they'd be walking to the parking lot with their parents, and you're walking with them, and their parents are like, oh, you're not going anywhere this weekend. If you think you're going anywhere this weekend, you can forget it. You can cancel that party you're going to, too. That is absolutely not happening. And I mean, I'm like, why don't you get out there and play the fucking game then if it's so important to you? Like, what an asshole thing to do. I would love to see where these parents are now, what kind of relationship they have with those poor children. I mean, there's one thing to like help your children be driven and everything, but lift them up. Don't stomp them down. Do you know what I mean? Like, lift them up. Tell them you can do it. I believe in you. I'm here for you. And if you fail, it's okay, because failure is good. It's absolutely necessary to fail. You are never going to win all the time. You need to fail to find out where your weaknesses are and what you can do better the next time. Everybody fails. The biggest stars in the world, the biggest movie stars, the biggest singing stars, the biggest athletes, actors, everything, they've all failed multiple times, more than once. I promise you. As have I. I have failed lots of times. I've made really wrong decisions. I've done really stupid things. I've done horrible things that I regret. I mean, I've never killed anybody, but I'm just saying, like, I've done things that I regret. And the things I regret, I definitely wouldn't want to keep those things, because regret, it hurts. It doesn't feel good. We can talk about that later, but failing is necessary, okay? So don't beat yourself up if you don't make an A. All right, it's gonna be okay. The world's gonna keep on spinning. All right. So anyway, parents that are like that, you suck. Okay, you suck. You heard it here first. You suck. Okay. I wrote, there's no way they made... Okay. So one thing I thought was a little bit unrealistic is Mr. Vernon is supposed to be the vice principal of the school. There's absolutely no way they would make him stay an entire Saturday at that school. They would have a substitute do it, an intern do it, or just a teacher. You know what I mean? Or have two teachers take shifts or whatnot. He's not going to sit there on a Saturday, you know, doing detention. No fucking way. Also, his suit, I wrote, this douchebag's suit sucks. So, Bender asks about douchebag stealing Barry Manilow's wardrobe. And I just have to say, Barry Manilow wouldn't be caught dead in that suit. He was fabulous. I love Barry Manilow. I love all of his songs. I have every single one on Spotify. And I might blast that tomorrow when I take baby girl to work. I mean, all his songs are singable. They're so amazing. And I went to the very first concert I ever went to. I think I was between 11 and 13. Was a Barry Manilow concert with my mom and her best friend, who is obsessed. Like, she was one of the Fanilows, you know what I mean? And when he, oh my God, he started singing, I write the songs to make the young girls cry. I write the songs. How does it go? I write the songs, I write the songs. That was awful. I'm sorry. But do you know what I mean? Oh God. I write the songs that make the whole world sing. I write the songs of love and special things. Da 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 da. And then whatever. I don't know the rest of the words. But when he sang the part, I write the songs that make the whole world sing. I write the songs that make the young girls cry. Lost it. Young girl crying. Oh my God. Obsessed. Was so good. I apologize for the singing. I'm sorry. I do sing better than that. I'm actually not a bad singer. So anyway, I've been told I sound a little bit like Adele. I'm just saying. Anyway, so let's see. Okay. I went to a concert, blah, 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 blah. All right. Brownie hound. What is a brownie hound? I don't know what a brownie hound is. I think Bender says this to somebody, a brownie hound. I don't get what it is. And then Amelia calls somebody a butt face. Okay. We never used that, butt face. My phone's telling me I have 10% battery, so whatever. None of these, what I find really interesting is that none of these clothes or haircuts are anything like what we wore in 1985. Now, I don't know, maybe it's a Texas thing, but it's not like we were all wearing, cowboy shirts and cowboy jeans and boots. We weren't. We dressed like everybody else. We had a group of people that we called ropers, but everyone else dressed, I did the Madonna thing where I dressed weird. I loved her fingerless gloves, and I didn't know where to get any or how to do it. So my mom would buy me these real army green slouchy socks, and I'd put them on, and I'd cut the fingers out to here, and then I'd cut a slit for the thumb, and boom. I mean, and I had a short, it was like Madonna Lucky Star, where she had a bandana in her hair, and her hair was real short up to here, like a bob, and kind of permy and crunchy. That wasn't my best look, so sorry. I had other looks. That wasn't my best. But we had guys with weird haircuts. I mean, weird, just weird. Weird haircuts, mullets. They weren't called mullets back then. They were called bi-levels. Even girls had bi-levels. I did. But I had them more in the 83, 82. We didn't have any John Benders. If we did, honey, oh my goodness. I mean, he'd be fighting the ladies off. let's see. John Bender to me resembles more like 90s Seattle grunge look. You know what I mean? There are other children. Oh God. When Brian starts talking about his math club and he says like there are other children in my math club, when he says other children, my heart, oh my God, my heart. He's so sweet. I can't. I love him so much. Boneheads. Somebody said boneheads. We never said that. Ever. We never said boneheads. And maybe that's a northern word. I know there's like northern slang that's different than what we had. Now, Ali Sheedy. There wasn't a lot I had in common with this character other than I did wear really baggy clothes because at the time I didn't know I had a really cute figure. Also, I didn't want to be seen. I didn't want to be sexualized. I didn't want anyone to see me for that part of me because I was being sexualized at home by this bitch. So I did wear shaggy hair again because I just wanted it like in my face. I wanted to hide. I did everything I could do to hide. And I would take, except it wasn't a string. Well, I would take strings, but usually it was hair. And I would take things of hair and wrap it around real tight till like the end of my finger turned purple. I think everybody probably did that. But that's one thing I found in common with her. I did not have dandruff. Thank you very much. Also, I could not draw like her. I could never draw like her. One of the things I was thinking about when I was watching this movie was all the drawers, the drawers that were like this wide to hold all the little cards for the Dewey Decimal System, which we had to learn, which sucked ass, the Dewey Decimal System. Oh my God. I don't even know how it works to this day. I completely forgot about it. Just consider yourself lucky. You don't have to deal with that shit anymore. Oh my God. And we would never have detention in the library. If anything, it would be in the cafeteria, but for the most part, it would be in the teacher's, whatever you call that, the classroom. And I don't recall there being any Claires in high school, in my high school. Like, none. But I would imagine that any of the Claire, if we did have a Claire and they went to this movie and the guy says Claire's a fat girl's name, she probably obsessed over that for the rest of her life. So, way to go. But I don't recall there being any Claires. We had tons of Christie's, Christina's, Crystal's, Ashley's, I think it was just Christy. Oh, Chandra's. So many different variations of those things. Chandra's, and Chandras, and Shans, and Shauna's, and Shanae's, and it was, there's so many. And then here I am, Heather. You know, I mean, we had a couple of Heathers, which is ironic. They made a movie called Heathers. There really wasn't that many. I didn't know a lot of Heathers in high school. I was the only one I knew. I knew a Heather Ray only because, well, I won't get into that. Anyway, let's see, vodka. Why did I write vodka? I don't know what that is. I don't know why I wrote that, but I love the scene in the movie. We still do it to this day in my family. If anyone's asleep, where he goes, wake her, wake her, wake her up, wake her up, wake her up. Hey, get her up. This ain't no rest home. We still do that to this day. It's fun. You know, I mean, if you can't torture your children, what can you do, right? Like I said, there's lots of cool trivia on the app. Claire's outfit is absolutely gorgeous in this movie, but there's nobody in my school dressed like that. That was something that an older woman probably would have worn. Apparently it's something that John Hughes went to Neiman Marcus or something to pick out for her specifically. I believe it was Ralph Lauren. It was a beautiful outfit, but it's not something that any of our kids would have worn. I believe the only thing that made it like 80s was the pattern of the skirt was paisley, and she wore it beautifully. I mean, it just went with her hair and everything. But again, I didn't notice that any of the clothes they were wearing, any of the kids, or the hairstyles, other than Ali Sheedy, matched my 80s high school. Okay, so we will get to that. There's a different video I want to do talking about 1980s kids and how there's been studies and everything where these kids had a whole different set of circumstances than any other generation, and their studies. I think it's really interesting, but I want to talk about in a separate video. Judd Nelson's performance when he's acting out a scene, when he's talking about his family life, of course he thinks Brian has the perfect family life, right? Because Brian gets straight A's and Brian's a good kid. And so John's perception of Brian is that, well, his home life must be great. And it just speaks to the masks that we all put on. And we all pretend like everything's great when really everything is shit. And we're all just terrorized to even go home. But the performance that he gives during this scene when he's saying how, oh, you want to know what life is like at the old Bender family? And then he's like being himself and his dad and his mom all at once. And it's so fluid. And the music that they used to build this scene, the way the scene was done, it was just so perfectly done. And as a kid, it was interesting for me to see, like, that was one of the first times I saw where I was like, oh, I mean, like, obviously my friends, which I had one or two, one of my friends, I knew her life wasn't great. Her home life wasn't great. I assumed everybody else's was. Because she had some fucked up shit going on in her life. As did I. But, you know, I thought everybody else, especially the girls that were super preppy, wore the bows in their hair, the sweater vests, that always had their hair curled and winged and all that. I just thought, well, you know, they have perfect home lives. So that just proves how wrong I was. But his performance in that scene was really good. And whoever decided to put that music there and build that tension was real smart. Some of the trivia that popped up was that Brooke Shields was originally going to play Allison. And I find that interesting. I would have loved to see if she could bring darkness to a role. She also stars in two of my favorite movies, which I don't know if you've ever seen them. Brooke Shields. Brooke Shields was my ultimate in terms of, if this is somebody I want to look like, she was it. She was so stunningly, absolutely gorgeous. I mean, her eyes and her features, her skin tone, her skin color, her hair, her body, obviously just thin. Of course, she was a young girl. But she wasn't curvy like me. Even back then I was curvy. She was so beautiful. And in Blue Lagoon, both of those movies, Blue Lagoon and Endless Love, if you haven't seen them, watch them. They are amazing. And I brought my pen so that I could add them, because I will forget. I've got so many movies to review already, guys. I mean, this may take me the rest of my friggin' life. Okay. Shit. Hold on. Bear with me. What was it? Blue Lagoon. And, shit. What was it? Endless Love. Endless Love. That's where one of my favorite songs comes from. Endless Love by Lionel Richie, and I have no idea who else sings it with him, but oh, so good. Okay, anyway, so but Brooke Shields playing Allison, I don't know. It would have been interesting though to see. But I think Ali Sheedy did a great job. I also wonder, because there was a lot of ad-libbing in this movie, and when Dr. Vernon, or Mr. Vernon, is eating lunch, and he's pouring coffee, and he's eating the orange, and he, like, puts the orange in his mouth, and so you can see, like, the orange is in his mouth, like, and it's just, all you see is orange, and then he spills his coffee. I wonder if that's ad-libbed. You know what I mean? Like, I don't see that being in any script, but it's so real. Like, who of us haven't done that? And so I wonder if that was an ad-libbed moment. Bender being bad. Ugh. One of the hottest scenes in this movie, but in any movie, in my opinion. Hot. Of course, I had a crush on him. Is when he's walking down the hall with Claire, when they're getting drinks served. They're doing something that they're not supposed to be doing, and she says something, and he says, being bad feels pretty good, huh? And I was like, ooh, wee, you know how to melt my butter. Yes, you do. I mean, that was hot. That was hot. That was hot. I love a bad boy. What can I say? Yeah. Let's see. What? Oh, like the running through the school scene and all of that. Like, I definitely did all of this during summer school. I had summer school for a few years. I did not do well in school. I did not have good grades, because I had other shit on my mind, like terror, when I get home. But definitely in regular school, when the teachers would turn all the lights off, it would be film day, and they'd be off at their desks, probably asleep. And somehow I got lucky enough to be close to the door. I would slither under my seat, like, this, and then crawl on my hands and knees out the door while the light was off, and somehow make it back in time. I don't know how I did it. I don't know how I had the balls to do it, but I did it, and it was a blast. I'm not apologizing for it. It was a fucking blast. Don't do it. Kids that are watching, don't do it. But also, if you're children, you shouldn't be watching this. because I cuss and I talk about doing naughty things at school. But yeah, we'd run all over the school. Summer school was a blast. Are you kidding me? I mean, obviously, you'd rather not go to summer school, but in the end, you were glad you went because you met cute boys. And you ended up hooking up with him at the skating rink. So, let's see. High school. Here's what a piece of shit he is. I don't know what I wrote here. Basically, I wish that we could see Vernon get his ass eaten by a Rottweiler like we did with that guy in Ferris Bueller. I think that would have been funny. Apparently Judd Nelson ad-libbed that joke where he's crawling through the vents. He ad-libbed that whole thing, that whole joke. Let's see. Oh, I wrote some notes. Who was the president in 1985? I have no idea. I was going to look this up. I have no clue. I think it was Reagan. Oh my God, am I hyper intelligent? I think it was Reagan. Was it Reagan? I think it was Reagan. Yeah, I think it was Reagan. Andrew, Brian, and Allison hanging out. Brian has a fake ID, he says, because he wants to vote. That was ad-libbed. And just like Ali Sheedy's character, I always also had a ton of shit in my purse. I would carry huge purses and would just have a ton of shit in them. Still feels like sex is the same. I don't know what that means. What? Harry Larry? I have no idea what this is. Oh, okay. So the scene where they're talking about the what they all did to get in there. You know, these days, obviously that was bullying, but Andrew, Amelia's character, when he talks about how he taped Harry and Larry's buns together, that would have been an assault charge for sure by now, these days, and possibly considered a hate crime. So, yeah, definitely not good. Apparently, this is another bit of trivia. Judd Nelson was 25 in this movie. Claire, Molly Ringwald, was 16. Andrew / Emilio Estevez was 23. Brian, who was played by Anthony Michael Hall, was 16. And Ali Sheedy was 23. So the age ranges were very wide, but I think they all complemented each other amazingly in terms of how they were able to meet each other talent-wise and the age difference. I would never have known. The confessional scene where Allison says, we will grow up to be just like our parents. It's inevitable. And I know, I never thought about that, actually, in high school. I never thought about, will I grow up to be just like my mom? I knew I wouldn't, because I was nothing like my mom. Unfortunately for her, she wanted me to be like her. She wanted me to wear makeup when I was 12. She wanted me to care about some kind of sport. She wanted me to care about some kind of club. She wanted me to care about something or other, but she also didn't know that I was being abused. by this bitch for years. So, I'm sure she thought I was just some weirdo, lazy kid. Yeah, and I got that a little bit, where it was just, you're lazy, you're not applying yourself, da 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 da. But in reality, I was dealing with a lot of stuff, so, but she didn't know that, so in her eyes, I'm sure she was like, what the fuck is wrong with my daughter, and why doesn't she want to do cheerleading or wear makeup? So, but no, I never worried about growing up to be like my mom, because I'm just like my dad, even though, JB, that's my birth dad, it's just genetics. Like, he didn't raise me. That's a whole nother story. We had a very estranged relationship, but I am very much like him. And I do want to clear something up real quick. In another video, I mentioned that I don't have any siblings. I do have siblings, and so I don't want to discount them. What I meant was, I grew up as an only child. I did have a stepbrother from 13 to 16, in terms of we lived together for 3 years, 13 to 16. He's still my stepbrother. My parents are still married. That is my third dad, and my only true, real father that stayed with me forever. And so Chris is my step brother. But again, it still feels very much lonely, or only child syndrome. He was a boy, I was a girl. He would make fun of me. I didn't like him. But of course, I came in on his territory when I was 13. He was 15. I'm sure it was a bad situation. It sucked for everybody. But we don't have any issues with each other. We're just not close. And then I do have 3 half-sisters who I adore. The oldest of the 3 sisters is 10 years younger than me. These are my dad's daughters with another woman. And they all have letters that start with the same letter. My name is different. But I never, I saw these girls when I was allowed. So when this bitch adopted me, I was never allowed to speak to my dad again or call him. It wasn't until my parents divorced, my mom and this bitch, that I asked one day, can I call my daddy now? And she said, yeah. So I did. I called him. And then we started up visits. Annual visits. I think it was Christmas and summer. I don't know how many times. I don't know how many summers. I think it was a couple, though. I'd have to ask my mom, because there's so much of my life that I've blocked out that I don't remember, which is a subject that I've been wanting to get into. Oh, God, where's the book? But it's been problematic recently because of a certain very, very famous YouTuber that I'm not going to say her name, because I don't want people to try to find her videos, because I think it's bullshit. I just don't want her getting more attention. And I'm not entirely sure that she doesn't have this. Who am I to judge? But also, I don't want people finding them and getting misinformation. So, this. Coping with trauma-related disassociation. This is one of the reasons I don't have a lot of memories from my childhood. And we can go into that later, but I do have DID. And I wanted to bring this up earlier because I didn't want it to be one of these things where a year from now somehow it's another hot topic, and then I bring up, like, I have DID too, and it feels like I'm jumping on the bandwagon. I'm not. These are my notes. I don't want to share too much of these notes, but lots of, and I still haven't even finished it because I stopped going to my therapist because she would not let me record the sessions. She said it was something about it being, I don't know what the word was, not, I don't know, not legal or something, I don't know, which I think is total bullshit. And I really struggled with every week when I came back, like, well, what did we talk about last week? I wouldn't remember. I would disassociate because it was so traumatizing for me. But one thing I do like that she presented it to me as is, I don't consider myself to have alters. I consider myself to have just parts, different parts of me, and we all have different parts of ourselves, right?